Hey, it's Gabe with API Nation. Today I'm going to show you how you can sync a listing to leads to MoxiWorks so that all those leads you're getting from your listing to leads marketing, from those social ads, from the flyers, from the awesome landing pages, any lead that comes through automatically goes into MoxiWorks so you can follow up. Let me show you how to set this up. The first thing you're going to do is go to apination.com. You're going to click on Start Syncing. There you're going to see a ton of different apps, marketing apps, productivity apps, real estate apps. And I'm going to scroll on down till I get to L for listing to leads. There it is. So I'm going to click on that. And there I can see all the apps I can sync a listing to leads with, including, here we go, MoxiWorks. So I'm going to click there. And now we're going to make this connection between listing to leads and MoxiWorks. So it's going to take my listing to leads contacts and put them into Moxie. I'll activate this sync. The first step to activating this sync is to go ahead and sign in on API Nation. So I'll go ahead and sign in. If you don't have an API Nation account, you can create one here, or you can sign in with Google, which is what I'm going to do. Once you've signed in, we're now going to connect both apps. So I'm going to connect listing to leads. I'm going to hit this big button. It's just going to take me out to the listing to leads webpage where I'll sign in and make the connection. So there it is. There's the new connection. So I'll select it. It's going to do the same thing with MoxiWorks. Hit the big button. I'll go out to the MoxiWorks page, sign in here, and that's it. It's made that connection. So you can see we're now ready to create our sync. One big question, do we want to sync all the existing contacts I have in listing to leads into MoxiWorks? If I check this button, all those existing contacts, so if I go in here to listing to leads, all these people are going to get synced in. If I uncheck this button, only new contacts, so anybody who gets added from now on, will go into listing to leads. Either way, totally up to you. Most people want everybody in there, but if they're already in your CRM, you don't want them added again, just leave this button unchecked. You're going to hit subscribe. It's going to create the sync. You're going to get one final check before we activate it. Again, we did not sync all contacts, but you can. There's also this awesome filter. So for example, maybe as they're coming into MoxiWorks, you want different things to happen if they're a buyer lead or a seller lead. What you can do is you can set up this filter, come on down here to type, and you would say type contains buyer. And then only the lead types that are buyer will come through this sync. And you can do something like, come on down here to mapping, and maybe go all the way down here to groups in MoxiWorks and add them to a group called listing to leads LTL buyer. That way, you know, when you're looking at that group in MoxiWorks, they maybe are supposed to be on a specific campaign, or you can even activate a campaign as soon as they get synced into MoxiWorks. So that's a great option. While we're up here on mapping, let me take you through it. You can see we do most of this for you. So here's emails going into email. First name is going into MoxiWorks first name, last name into last name, and so on. If there's anything else you want to add, you can see we also bring in the street address. But yeah, if there's anything else you want to add, you can just hit plus sign. So for example, here's the full home address. Maybe I just want to build that out. That's probably the street, and then the city, and then the zip code, and maybe the state. There we go. So that's the full home address. So I can even build it out like that. But yeah, you can add any of the fields from listing to leads into fields from MoxiWorks using the mapping tool. So this looks good. You can see we have the filter set up. The type contains buyer, and I'm going to activate this sync. You might think, all right, well, now you have a buyer sync for all your buyer leads. What about the sellers? Well, first I'm going to name this buyer just so I don't forget. That's what this workflow does. And then I'm going to clone it. And on this clone, I'm going to call this one seller. And I'm just going to change that filter. Type contains seller. Save it, and then I'll come all the way down to the groups and change that to L2L seller. And there we go. Activate that sync. Now I have two syncs running, one for my buyers, one for my sellers. They're going into two different groups in MoxiWorks, so I know exactly who is who, and I can market to them appropriately. Of course, you don't need the filters if you don't want. You can just have every contact come into MoxiWorks as it is, and then you can decide what to do with it in there. You just clear out these filters, hit save, and you're ready to go. That's it. That's how you sync MoxiWorks and listing to leads. All those contacts, all those leads coming over from listing to leads, all that marketing activity, it's coming right into MoxiWorks so you can follow up, increase your speed to lead as those leads come in, and create more deals. If you have any questions or need any assistance setting up this sync, give us a phone call, shoot us an email. We're API Nation, and we're connecting the world's applications.